Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. Focusing in on what to do if your relationship with a covert or overt narcissist, a psychopath, someone who has been so disruptive in your life, so manipulative, so toxic that they, in essence, have kept you from your destiny. This very much is a byproduct of being involved with a narcissist or a toxic manipulator, someone who perpetually has to be in control. They have to be in control of the situation, the people in the situation, the reactions of the situation, the flavors of the situation. They just don't allow certain things to exist. This is known basically as malignant narcissism, when someone needs to essentially control so much of an event, a family, a relationship, a neighborhood. I mean, it can extend to really all reaches of their life. Business associates, when they really need to constantly control, and it's really out of fear. So it has a negative basis. It's not grounded in love. It's not grounded in peace. It's not grounded in happiness. It's not grounded in bliss. It's not grounded in humanity or productivity. It's really grounded in a selfish, stubborn, and very resistant sort of fear. So really, what to do if this has been a influence and you're really looking to alchemize or transcend and get beyond this. The control that the narcissist feels is it's a compulsion, it's a compelling need that they cannot let go of this desire. It's just as crucial to them as air, as water, as food. It's just one of their top groups, it's just one of the top things that they need to consume. It's in essence, it's like consuming people's reactions, consuming their very actions. They need to control constantly, be the one in charge over what's to naturally develop. So they're really trying to obstruct. They're really trying to distract. They're really trying to really falter. And why they need to do this is because they get a sort of enjoyment out of it. They take a pleasure. It's a pathological need, and they like to either outwardly exaggerate their self-interest, or they do it through being aloof and being quiet. But the narcissist will perpetuate on that. And so how do you now kind of emerge from that? How do you really sort of transition or transcend beyond it? Rather than being in a reactive mode to a control mechanism, which is going to be exercised by a covert narcissist, realize that if allowing yourself to be in touch with your own personal power and your I am, that resonating and feeling of wholeness and integrity. So wholeness meaning WHOLE, in other words, lacking nothing. Complete, meaning integrity, meaning one. Integrity meaning unable to be corrupted, unable to be broken down. So for example, if a car has quality integrity, that means that the parts are all cohesive and working as one. When we talk about wholeness, a food that is whole is one that hasn't been genetically modified or made other than which is authentic and real to its source. So realizing that to arrive at that wholeness, you need to realize that you have an accountability to yourself and not the reactions of the narcissist. So a good affirmation to say is, I am in touch with my own personal power. I'm actually now accountable to myself rather than reacting to others. And if you're able to repeat this over and over, I'm now in touch with my personal power. I'm actually now accountable to myself rather than reacting to others. You're able to kind of jog your system, and you're able to reset and recondition and reprogram your mindset and your emotional awareness. You're able to get in touch with that emotional center, which is your authentic self, and you're able to engage that personal power. You're able to alchemize, really meaning to transcend, to change the component or quality thereof. So rather than feeling alone and isolated and like a scapegoat and different, all these sort of outcast feelings that a narcissist would have you lead you to feel and exist, rather than realizing your personal power is really your unique talent and your unique spark, and that's really what sets you apart, which is what you should embrace. So rather than feeling that you are an outcast, realize that much of innovation and much of progress is owned by people who own their weirdness. When we look at some of the most prolific companies as of today, such as Zappos, they have really some very innovative corporate models, and one of their mission statements is to be weird. In other words, it's individuality which makes the world go round. It's being different, it's being a little off, it's being a pioneer, it's being one that creates the many. It's being one that moves the many. It is being yourself that you add to others. It's not looking just to add to others that you add, it's looking to add yourself to others. So when you look at that adding of yourself to others, realizing that that comes from within you first and to them second, and not having to control the outcome, but living within the existence and personal power of yourself, that is what you give, and that is what is able to be sustained. Because constantly being sustained by the reaction of others is to try to control that which cannot be controlled. So that's what's so exhausting about really being with a narcissist, is because they're constantly trying to create a reaction out of others, which is only to serve them and not to serve that self. So just like Michael Jackson was, his son Prince was recently quoted in the news. He said his father, Michael Jackson, told him 3 words, and that was, trust no one. Trust no one. And he said to Prince that in the world of show business and music industry, that he was, of course, the king of pop. People would faint at his concerts. Michael Jackson was incredibly gifted and talented, and I mean his story is just magnificent if you're really to understand where he grew up. I think it was in Gary, Indiana, in the U.S., and his father had the Jacksons, singing and dancing and practicing, really coming from very raw beginnings, and coming really essentially from nothing, but knowing that they had a certain chemistry and a certain talent to sing and dance. So he really fostered that, and he developed that, and he had them practice, and he had them working very tight and closely as a family, and they were able to really become icons and international superstars. But Michael Jackson, despite all his pathologies, that's not the focus here. The idea is that Michael told him one of his most profound statement was, trust no one. In other words, and then he backed that up saying, realize that there are many people in the music business who are out for themselves. In other words, they're not out to help you develop your music and help you to become your best talent. They're out to basically try to get a cut of this or a cut of that, and things of that nature. So there are certain industries that are going to attract quite a few narcissists and people of that vein. So realize that your personal power, where you're accountable to yourself, is really meant to go hand in hand with the knowledge that you're developing here. So realize how important it is, and check in with yourself. Am I being accountable to myself? Am I working the path of my healing? Am I working the path to my personal empowerment? Or am I getting caught in the toxic cycles of the narcissistic and control hungry people that are in my life, in my family, and in my reality, and furthermore in the world? Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help, Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.